Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I am going to be showing you how to add a rib stitch border to your cardigan. So it's going to be in two parts. First I'm going to show you how to add the ribbing to the front panels and either your hood or your neckline. And then I'm going to show you how to add the rib stitch to the bottom of the cardigan because they are actually done in two separate pieces. So obviously this cardigan already has its rib stitch. I haven't sewn my ends in yet, as you can see. So I'm going to be showing you it on my other cardigan that I'm making at the moment, which is a brown number. I'll show you it in full. It's obviously quite a lot larger because it's an adult size one. This is a children's. And I'll show you a clip of it now. So here is my cardigan as discussed, and I'm going to show you how we start. So obviously I can't get the whole cardigan in on this shot. This is the bottom of my cardigan, and the cardigan is facing me with its two sides, as it would be, as it should be, as it's worn. So what you're going to do to start is you're going to need your hook and your yarn. This is a slightly different colour, but not too much of a change because I wanted a slight contrast in the ribbing. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your hook, you're going to find the bottom of your cardigan, the bottom chain in that base, which for me is just here. And you can find it because it's the last one in this straight row at the bottom. And you're going to put your hook under both parts of that, so you've got two loops on your hook. And you're going to pull up a working loop. I'm going to tie this on. And then pull up a loop again. So I now have a working loop that's secured to the base of my cardigan. I'm actually going to be working up this side. So what I'm going to do, this cardigan does not have a hood, but the method is exactly the same. We're going to work all the way up one side. You will either travel around the front of your hood or your neckline and then come back down the other side, back down to this corresponding corner. The first step on this is actually to put in a foundation row of single crochets. The reason I do that is because if you've added length extensions to your cardigan, you will not have chains that run up the side of this panel. So for example, in this panel where you've got your normal work, you'll have chains that run along. So it's really easy to see where to add your double crochets for your rib stitch, but this piece does not have them. So what you need to do is add in a row of singles all the way along, all the way around, in order to give yourself a nice, easy, workable base. So we're going to do that now. To start, we are going to chain one. So what I tend to do is actually flip my cardigan so that I'm working, because I like to work from the right to the left. So I'm going to grab my cardi and shift it round. So now it's a nice, easy working panel for me. So I've done my chain one. Now I'm going to work along these this actual length extension that I've put in here. So as I've said, the length extension will not have easy workable chains. What you need to do is simply single crochet along this without overstretching it and without leaving any big gaps. So I'm not going to specify that it has to be 2 single crochets per double crochet, even though that is the appropriate math, because sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, and what you really want to do is just make sure you've got a nice flat piece of fabric with no sort of ripples. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put my hook. So I like to put my hook through the actual stitch itself rather than into this big gap. I find that makes a much neater fabric. So I'm just going to pop that through, pull up a loop, yarn over and take it through both. And then my next one, I'm going to go here. Yarn over through both. I think here next. And like I say, it is all down to your judgment, because you could add extra, you could add less. It depends on how tight your work is and how you want your fabric to sit at the end. Just going to keep working those along. So obviously this gets much easier by the time you've finished your length extensions, because you just start working directly into the stitches that you do have.
Luckily for me, I've not added way too much. I've not added a huge amount to my length extension, just a bit. You see how that's sitting nice and flat still? You just want to make sure you're at least under 2 pieces of yarn for every stitch, and that way you know you've got a good solid base. Ooh, tricky one. Okay, I've got about this much more to do until I reach, so I'm going to continue here until I get to my corner of where my official hexagon's finished. So I'm going to meet you back there in just a moment. Okay, so I've just done that. I've added a single crochet to all of my length extensions. As you can see, it's sitting nice and flat. It's not making the fabric splay out and it's not bunching the fabric in. I've now reached the corner of my original hexagons, and this is where things get a bit easier. You're just going to now work directly into the chains at the edges of your panel. So just carry on, and this should carry on as chains that you're going to work into all the way up to the shoulder panel. So once you hit your shoulder, you may find that if you've extended the back panel, you will have more of these length extensions where you don't have the chains. So again, you're just going to make sure you put your single crochets evenly across those until you come back to the other side where you'll find your chain stitches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry on. I'm going to do this whole side until I reach my shoulders, and then I am going to meet you back there. Okay, so I have single crocheted all along my front panel, and I'm now at my shoulder seam. I just want to show you what I do at these shoulder seams. What I like to do is just to make sure it all sits together nicely, is instead of going from here and here either side of it, I actually like to put a stitch right through one of the V's of the stitch. So I force my hook through there and pull up a loop and yarn over through a loop. And what it does is it just helps, I think it helps with the sort of alignment of all the stitches. So we've now hit all of those extensions in the back panel. So just like before, I'm going to evenly space those across till I hit the center seam, put my hook through the center of that stitch, continue across the other side, center of this seam, and then work back along my other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet you back when I get to the bottom of my other corner. So the whole row of these single crochets will be complete. So our next step is to turn this single crochet into a front post, back post, double crochet rib stitch. And that is going to be really easy because you've laid this foundation row. So we are going to follow the row that you've done. So if you've gone around a hood, we're going to be going all the way around the hood with this rib stitch. If you have just a neckline like I do on this one, you're just going to be going around the neckline. So how do you begin? Well, to start with, I'm going to flip my work. So with my hook where it was previously, with my working loop from my single crochet row, just going to hold that. So you will be working on the inside with the wrong side of your cardigan facing outwards, and that doesn't matter because front post and back post double crochet are pretty much the same on either side. So you are going to begin by chaining 2, and those 2 chains are going to act as your first stitch. So just like before, we're not going to put a double crochet in that chain at the bottom. What we are going to do is a front post double crochet. So front post double crochet is exactly the same stitch as a normal double crochet. So by that I mean you yarn over, you put your hook through, pull up a loop, you yarn over, go through 2, and then you yarn over and go through 2 again. However, you put your hook in a different place. So you don't just go into the next chain, you're actually going to be creating a post out of this in between these two chains here. So by that I mean the following. So you're going to yarn over, because it's a double crochet, you're going to put your hook under the next chain, but then back out the other side of the other one. So what you're doing is you're pushing that single crochet in between up to the front. Then you're going to yarn over and pull that through. So you should have 3 loops on the hook, one of which is going underneath the single crochet that you made earlier. Then you're going to yarn over and go through 2. You're going to yarn over and go through 2. So now we're going to do a back post double crochet, and this is how you create the rib stitch. You go front, back, front, back, front, back, and repeat all the way along. So as again, you're going to yarn over because it's a double crochet, and then you're going to take your hook round to the back of your work, push it up underneath the next chain, so you've got your chain on your hook, over the top of the single crochet and back down to the back of your work. You're going to yarn over and pull that all the way through, so you should have 3 loops on the hook, one of which is over the top of your single crochet. What I'll do is I'll add a video specifically on front and back loop double crochet into the file, just so you've got it. It won't be on this project, but at least it will be a more in-depth version of how to do this stitch. So again, we're going to yarn over, go into our next chain, underneath the post, and then back out the other side. This is a front post double crochet. I'm going to yarn over and go through 2, and yarn over and go through 2. Now a back post double crochet, round to the back of your work and up towards you, over the top of the post. Grab your yarn and put it all the way through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. Now a front post, in, underneath and back up, grab your yarn and put it through, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2. And can you see that that is creating a reliefed pattern? So your front posts should stand forwards, your back posts should sit backwards. And when you finish this, it gives you a nice ribbed effect. So this is similar as, or it's the same really, as the rib stitch you did around your cuffs. So you should be aware of it, but yeah. So what we're going to do now is we're going to carry on doing that all the way around the whole of your garment, back down to your corresponding corner. So I am going to meet you back there when we've got a whole row in place. Okay, welcome back. So I have just completed my first full row of front post and back post double crochet. So I now have some rib stitch that goes all the way around my cardigan, and it actually goes all the way around the neck, back along. It's really hard to show you on this. It goes all the way around. So I am actually going to leave my cardigan with just one row of front post, back post ribbing. However, as per the pattern, you can do as many rows as you like. So I'm going to show you how you would set up that next row now. So all you're going to do is you've just finished your last row that you've just done. You're going to chain 2. You're going to work back around your ribbon. So what I will say is, all you need to do is look at what is there. Don't worry too much if you started on a front post and now it's a back post. That doesn't matter. But if there is a front post, you will be doing a front post next. So you're going to yarn over and do your front post. Next one's a back post. And you're just going to crochet what was there in your previous row. Repeating your front post and back post all the way around. And what you're going to do is you are going to do another full row of this. And then if you want to make your ribbing even deeper, you can just keep doing that, chaining 2, turning your work and going back around, matching what was there in your previous row. And that is how you do the front post, back post rib on the front panels and neckline or hood of your cardigan. So back in a moment, I'm going to show you how to do the bottom rib. Okay. So at this point, you should have completed your front post, back post rib stitch around the front panels and neckline of your cardigan to a depth that you are happy with. So they are completely done. You won't be working into those any further. So for this video, just to keep you up to date, this is just one row, and I'm going to leave mine here for today. In fact, for this garment. So I've done one row of ribbon around the neckline and collar. I'm now going to start working on the bottom of my cardigan. So if you're going to carry on doing the bottom ribbon in the same colour as the colour that you've put around your neckline and front panels, don't tie off your ends. Just keep working with your working loop. If you're starting in a new colour, tie off your ends and pull up your new working colour. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to take our hook in our working hand, and I am going to flip my work, as I always do, so that I am working along the bottom of my cardigan from right to left, and that means I'm actually working on the inside of my cardigan, the wrong side, but that doesn't matter to me. So, as before, all I'm going to do is chain 2, and then I am going to work along the bottom of my cardigan. So most of your cardigan should have chains, however, your rib stitch that you've done for your sides won't have. So as before, we're just going to evenly space our work across those. So there's my front post. There's my back post. So if you'll remember, on our side panels, when we started this row, we actually did a foundation row of single crochet. I'm not doing this on the bottom because the majority of the stitches have the chains. It's just the couple that you will have added in for your rib stitching that won't. So balance them out as best you can, but I really don't think you need it for this. However, if you want to, you could do that if you're finding it difficult. But I'm going to carry on the pattern along these chains. And you're going to add your front post, back post, just like before, all the way along to the other side of your cardigan. So yeah, just like before, I'm going to go away and do mine off camera and meet you back when I get to the end. Okay, so here I am. I've just done a row of rib stitch all the way around the base of my cardigan. Just exactly the same method as we did for the side. So all I'm going to say now is we're almost done here, but if you want to add another row of rib stitch, all you do is just like before, you're going to chain 2, then you're going to turn your work, which can be tricky when you've got a jumper this size, and you're going to work straight back along what you've been working on. And all you're going to do, can you see that? Sorry, the light's a bit dodgy in my kitchen today. You're going to work back along, matching your front post with front posts and back posts with back posts. Yeah, and just like before, you can go as deep as you like with this. It's totally up to personal taste. So yeah, go for what you like. I'll probably do a few rows because I like a good chunky rib stitch at the bottom of my cardigans. There you have it. That is rib stitch.